My name is Shamelle Rice, and this is my beautiful family. So I lead an organization in Barbados called Jabez House, and our mission is to facilitate the transition process of female sex workers from sex work via access to alternative economic empowerment opportunities. Persons always wonder, like, why would you choose such a path? And my answer is always simple. This could easily have been me. So you see, I grew up in a single parent home, watching my teenage mother struggling, just to take care of us, my three brothers and I. We lived in this tiny one-room house. No electricity, no running water, a pit toilet. And I remember just many nights hearing my mother sobbing and crying when she thought we were asleep. She didn't feel good as a mother knowing her children had to go hungry or that she was unable to provide properly for them. I mean, although she really tried, but she was unable to. And today, my mother still is the most industrious woman I know. But I mean, with limited educational qualifications, a terribly asthmatic child, little to no support, it was rough. My primary school days are forever etched in my memory. And honestly, I thank God for school meals because that saved my life. Those were lunches I could rely on every single day. I remember one of the school meal servers, she had really liked me, and she would pack any leftover bread and cake and milk, that I would have that I could take home. Just so that she knew that my family, we had something extra to eat. So my life consisted of secondhand clothes, old shoes, sleeping on the ground on an old sponge, and just trying to get by day. I absolutely hated being the child that never got to go on the field trips at school because mommy never has the money. There's this one field trip though that really stands out to me and that I would never forget. And it was the one where we were getting to go on the submarine. So that day I went to school like any other day because I was not going to be missing my school meals. Even although I knew that I was gonna feel like crap seeing all the other children, board the bus and leave. I knew I was gonna feel terrible. And, I was in the classroom trying to keep myself busy, do stuff so that I would not, just look too sad and just be there. But as the room got emptier and I saw one by one everybody leaving, your friends look at you, Shamelle, everybody, see you later. It began to be much harder than I thought. And this one teacher, Miss Smith, she did this final run to make sure that nobody who was to be going on the trip was left behind. And there I was, the only person in the classroom. And I was writing on the chalkboard, trying to keep myself busy. And, she came in, she said to me, Shamelle, you want to go on the submarine? You want to go on this field trip? I said, yeah, mom, but my mother didn't have the money. She couldn't afford it. So I started to give her my excuse. And she said, Shamelle, do you want to go on the field trip? And I said, yes. So she asked me for a number for a neighbor or for anybody that could even get close to my mother, that she could at least get my mom on the phone so I could get the permission to leave. The buses were already loaded. Everybody was already on the bus. And this woman, she called and called and called until my mother got on the phone. And she got the yes. And to this day, whenever I think about that moment, honestly, like I always tear up because I was never so excited in my life. That was the first day that I got a snack box. That was the first day I got something that was not school meals, it was lunch, And this is because I had no lunch, so my teacher had to buy something for me. And, I remember us sitting in Queen's Park and just opening this box and eating and just feeling so special because I got this. Another instrumental moment for me at primary school came on the day of my graduation. So I did 11 plus and I emerged the valedictorian, and I was the poor girl, but I was always bright. So that was one thing, I was always bright. And another thing is that I was always mannerly. And these two things worked for me. I always helped my teachers. I always, just tried to be extra and just do what was required. I did my homework, whatever. And I remember after I passed from my dream school, my teachers, they were aware of my living situation. But my teachers, they were equally aware of my potential. And this one teacher, Miss Brathwaite, she, at the end of the graduation, she introduced my mother and I to this gentleman by the name of Hilford Morrow. And she shared with him about my life, she talks about me, just being this poor girl and stuff. But she was like, there's so much potential in her. And she asked him if he could help me out. And that day marked a turning point in my life. This man committed then and there to sponsoring me, to supporting me, to taking a chance on me. He bought every single uniform I ever had. He paid for my books. I mean, everything he did. He gave me a monthly allowance just so that I would be able to go to school. And not only go to school, be able to participate properly. And all that he required of me was, you show me your report and you stay on track. I mean, that was it. He was never inappropriate. He never asked me a question. He just encouraged me to dream and remain focused. And at 18, when I finished school, I wanted to go to university, but again, there wasn't any money there to make that possible. And yet again, he stepped up and paid my way through university. Every book, paid my fees, everything, just so that I could have had that opportunity. He made that decision to invest in me. And today I'm the first and only university graduate in my family. And I mean, even as a female, for me, that is massive. So seeing the good that followed me as I grew, yet being fully aware of the struggles of being poor and just how difficult it could be, I made a decision by age 14 to help women. And I decided, I want to make sure that others have opportunities. I still saw the struggles of my mom. I still saw the days that our cupboards were bare. I still had days of struggling with those hunger headaches. And I saw men at times, even coming around trying to proposition my mom, in hopes of taking advantage of her because she was struggling to take care of her children. And, she would tell them where to get off, but I sometimes think of how easily she could have been exploited just to feed her children. And the more I lived and grew, the more I knew what I wanted to do. And that is really was to help women, to help others. So my journals were consumed from an early age with this idea of this place, this home, where I was going to, help women and do things and offer programs to impact lives. I just knew I had to do something because all I said to myself was, this easily could have been me. And as I graduated from university, I got into teaching at a secondary school on Island. And the truth is, I loved working with the young people, connecting with the students, especially the girls. They would come, they would cling to me, and they would share their problems. And there was this one student that I distinctly remember, like she really stands out to me even to this day. And I remember her sharing with me, her story of sexual abuse and the abuse she had to endure at the hands of her father and uncle just to get money to go to school. Now, to make a long story short, she was removed from the home, the case went to court, etc. But this situation was but one that reminded me over and over again of the burden I had to reach out to women in less than ideal circumstances. And in 2012, I decided, I'm going to quit my job as a teacher to pursue this passion I had of mine. Fast forward now some 8 years and 500 lives impacted later, and I am so glad that I made the decision to do it. When I look around and I see the ladies who were cast aside, stereotyped, stigmatized, and discriminated against, seeing the transformation that occurred in their lives, my heart is beyond full. When I quit my job, I did not know, I could not have had a clue how everything was going to work out and how I was going to even get it all done. I didn't have any money, it wasn't like I had some trust fund. All I had was passion and determination. And one day I sat down and I brainstormed, I went through my phone and I came up with a list of names of persons. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna contact these people and I'm gonna ask them to pledge $20 a month for the next 6 months to help make this work possible. And I'm so glad that persons agreed to, because today, none of the ladies that they sponsored are still in sex work. And through our programs, all have been able to fully transition from the trade. Our Pathway to Productivity initiative has made it possible for ladies to own their own salons, have their own nail businesses, have access to nursing auxiliary opportunities, and I mean so many other areas. In a study done by Adelphi University and Safe Spaces in 2017 on women engaged in sex work in Barbados, childcare emerged and remains the primary motivator for women entering the trade. So it's not about the fast money or the flashy lifestyle that some persons think. For most women, just being able to provide for their children is really the thing. And I have seen firsthand, no mother just wants her child to go hungry. Mama just wants to feed her hungry children. And now that I'm a mother today, I understand this in a way that I don't think I ever was really able to. I look at my daughters and I want them to have a better life than I ever did. I never want them to go hungry. I want them to always feel like they're included. I would never want them to feel left out and alone. I don't want them to suffer. I want them to have a beautiful life. Is this a desire that is unique to me? Of course not. My clients want the same for their children. And all they need, all she needs, all that woman needs is an opportunity. And guess what? You can help to make it possible for her and her family. Just as Mr. Morrell took that chance on me, this once poor little girl, and invested in me. Just as persons, when I started, took the challenge to give monthly, today you can do the same. All of our services are offered free of cost to women to remove barriers of participation and to ensure that no one is left behind. We provide expert training. We give them access to alternative economic empowerment opportunities. So whether that is training in nails or hairdressing or baking, business development, whatever it is, we provide that. And it takes us about $1,500 US, $3,000 to help one woman scale up and get her business going. So today, you can pledge any amount of your choice to helping a woman. But guess what? I want to go a step further and ask you to join a community of persons committed to giving over time, because change does not happen in 1 month. It's not a one-off thing. For 10 years, I was sponsored monthly. So I had time to grow and develop in my giftings and my potential. I mean, you never know who you will impact. You never know who is going to be the next leaders, the other generation, There's no way Mr. Morrell would have known that he was sponsoring a 2016 Queen's Young Leader or an awardee in so many other spaces. And I'm sure he's pleased with his return on investment, And I decided back then that I'm going to make sure I pay it forward. So today, I want you to join me, to join us and take that pledge. Take the pledge to helping a woman, because together we can empower women and transform lives.